face.
I'm just going to make it very definitive that I have a new mic.
It's like the only thing in the camera. It's like way up here.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys, to your Kentucky X-Files.
Ooh, a two-noter.
Just want to let you guys know that I upgraded.
It's a nice mic.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good looking mic.
It was always said, like, since we haven't been able to record together, we've been doing the whole StreamYard stuff. So I was like, man, I really want my nice mic, my Rode. So it was always crisp when we did it together, and I was like, man, I need to get myself an interface for my computer. So I was like, fuck it. Spend the money.
Do it.
Yep.
So now
Treat yourself, Queen.
Yeah. Now that we're rich and famous superstars in the podcasting world,
Right.
You know,
like, I got I got the KYX phone that's in the back.
that was I didn't even know we had that.
Oh.
The emergency KYX phone. Where is it? It's on here somewhere. Yeah.
Oh. Don't answer it. It's probably a scam call.
Yeah, I was just
Or a warranty.
we're calling about your UFOs extended warranty.
Yeah.
I get the Medicaid one all the time.
You guys out there listening, if you want to know how just superiorly awesome we are at podcasting, we've had this.
Stay tuned for the rest of this conversation.
For like ever, and like would you know what I mean? Like never use it. There was another one somewhere. It's like now a word from our sponsors. But being honest, it's like you have to go in and you have to like cut the episode up and try to put that in where you think a commercial is going to be, and I don't want to do it.
I just thought of something too, though.
Huh.
The stay tuned part.
Yeah.
That's not relevant anymore.
What do you mean? Like how? Okay.
Okay, so back when they used to use that all the time, stay tuned.
Yeah.
It means keep your tuning on your device to this station.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's tuning into us anymore.
That's true.
You're not tuning the attenuators for an antenna.
Yeah.
To get us.
But I feel like now it's becoming one of those things that just says now.
Yeah, I was associating it. Oh, good.
I was going to say, there's going to be a time when people are going to be like, I don't understand what stay tuned is or why people say hang up a phone.
Don't hang up.
Right.
Don't hang up. Like, what do you mean? Don't press a button.
Right.
Don't
I guess
touch your
I
screen.
have to get Catherine to do us a new one. That's like, check back next week for the rest of this conversation.
Subscribe and hit the bell for the next.
Yeah. Like, share, and subscribe, and send us $1,000 for the rest of this episode.
No. We never even say anything about the bell or the subscribe button or anything.
Yeah. Because fuck YouTube. That's why.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
aren't we like permanently demonetized on there right now?
It's starting to come back. I noticed that. It's like they finally started to take it easy on your boys out there.
We're not grounded anymore.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess they smacked us on the hands. They're like shook. They rolled up newspaper in our face. You know what I mean? They were like, knock that stuff off. You don't be talking about no car owner viruses. Oh.
You're gonna get us popped again.
I wonder if there's a record, like some kind of record you could do for constantly getting yourself demonetized.
Like, does it work in the reverse? If you get yourself in trouble so many times, it puts you to the top of the list.
That'd be cool,
right?
Yeah,
I'd go for that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But over on the streaming side, though, I think they treat us good. They let us do whatever we want. We pull all kinds of crap and get away with it left and right, and Spotify just encourages us.
Yeah,
and Apple does too,
which is weird, but
Yeah.
I'll get with it.
Yeah, it seems like you would think that we would say something or do something on here, and they'd be like, "All right, hey boys, you gotta have to knock that
Yeah,
stuff off,"
stop that off.
But they're
Stop.
more like, I guess it's probably a room of guys, and they're probably sitting there like, "Hold on, let's see what they say next." You never know, you know. But it's fun. It's all in fun, you know. It's all in fun.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like bad for anybody, but man, they might actually have that person there. Like, oh man, like they're. It says that they're talking about the thing that should not be named, and they actually, okay, let's listen to it for like any disinformation.
It's the evil that must not be spoken.
Yeah, and they're like, oh well, they really didn't say anything bad. Like they're not trying to tell people anything
Yeah.
wrong. Okay, just let it through.
Yeah.
Over on YouTube side, they're like, flag, 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 flag. They said
Yeah.
flag them.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't double flag a triple flag.
Apparently, YouTube can.
Apparently, yeah, you're probably right. So it's been a fun week for weird news. I don't know if you guys have paid attention. I hate to be the one to break this to you guys out there, but the sun is falling apart. I know this is not where you expected to hear that from, but a piece of the sun broke off. And it was swallowed by apparently what they call a polar vortex, which I think is an interesting term for something on the face of the sun. And let me show you what that looks like. I have a hard time believing this is an actual picture, but I've been wrong before. I don't know. But if you look over there to the left, you'll see this big thing sticking out of the side of the sun. Apparently, a piece broke off and then it was swallowed up again by what they call a polar vortex. Looks like a giant tornado on the sun.
The flaming tornado.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
bad.
pretty
bad.
crazy. Yeah. It's pretty wild. I don't know.
Is it?
I imagine them. Go ahead.
No, sorry. No, you're actually giving me information.
Oh no. I was just gonna say I can't imagine what it's like for people who like study the sun and see something break off of it if they're like you know what I mean? It broke.
It broke.
Yeah.
It broke it. It
But it
broke
went-
it.
And got sucked back in, and they're like, whew.
Okay. We're good.
Okay.
Thank you, sun tornado.
Yeah, false alarm, guys. We're good. They always talk about like solar flares can literally be big enough to just, smack the earth.
Well, not like that, they can do an EMP, right? Or
Yeah.
an EMP and like basically kill all of our electronics.
Yeah, so if you happen to get underground quick enough to not get roasted,
Yeah.
your cell phone's not going to work.
Right.
So you won't be able to tell
That's,
anybody anyway.
But I thought that's well, I know they said the solar flames, if it's bad enough
Yeah.
and it hits us, it could like the ozone layer is not going to hold up to it. It's only like it's just
Yeah.
it like it's already bad
The
enough. Like, but,
magnetosphere. Yeah. The magnetosphere of the earth is supposed to protect us from solar flares, and I guess it's one of the things where it can only hold back so much. I always wondered if they built like super underground bunkers somewhere for people to escape to. Do they make the doors electric? You know what I mean? Like
Ooh.
think automatic doors, because if it does EMP, it's like it's just gonna. All right, guys, get to the bunker. You get there and you're like, all right.
I'd feel like they
Shit.
would have to have some type of manual override.
I'd hope so. There has to be a hand crank on this thing somewhere,
Yeah.
because that would suck, man. You're like,
I
all
don't know, man. Like, do you think that they're smart enough to do that shit? Like back in the day, like bomb doors on bomber planes. You had your hydraulics set up, but they also had the hand crank one.
Yeah.
because they knew shit would fail. I think we're way too overly confident. You know,
I hope that we thought ahead on
Unless-
this one.
Well, think about it. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. What if the motor and all the electronics? I know the wires coming out of it. Would the EMP be able to get in if the electronics were in a lead box?
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's not the electronics in the box that's going to be the problem. It's whatever's powering.
Well, okay, yeah. Let's say uh, the electricity, like the electricity that's being used to do that, and it's in a lead box, and there's cables coming out of it. I wonder if it'll it's like, ooh, there's cables flowing, bit, bit,
I don't know.
and it does. It makes that sound, bit, like
Bleh.
you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead.
I always wondered
Family's
if,
dead.
like, I always wondered if the electromagnetic pulse was strong enough, would it magnetize moving parts? You know, like, I mean, I realize like some parts are not going to be, able to be magnetized. You know, most of your aluminums and such, but like, think of it like an engine block. You know, if a strong enough magnetic force hits it, I mean, it's going to fry the electronics, but say you got around that somehow and you could get a spark, is the rest of the engine going to be magnetized, or is it just no big deal, keep on going, you know?
Right.
I know like watches, like old style watches, those are all dead in an EMP. They're magnetized.
We have an EMP on record that happened.
Really?
You guys are not aware of this?
Uh-uh.
Oh man. Okay, so I have to do a quick look up here. I can't remember exactly when it happened, but it like destroyed the infrastructure. This has already happened once.
Really?
Don't tell
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders that.
Wow.
Stay tuned for the rest of this conversation.
Eh?
In 1 minute.
Eh? Professionals. Professionals. I was trying to
We're gonna have it again.
some music like if Josh was taking us back in time, you know? Magically whisked away to when the EMP hit.
It has to be the song from Back to the Future. Gotta get back in time.
Okay, so in 1859, massive flares spewed electric gas and subatomic particles towards the Earth, wreaking havoc on telegraph networks.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm not pulling up some like shady website. I'm on history. Like this is really something that happened.
Okay.
The basically all of the telegraph communications were dead. You know, and when you think about like, oh, big deal, that was, you know, whatever. But at the time, that's
all
basically
they had.
that's the entire infrastructure for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a big deal, you know.
Well, it to me it's like a very scalable big deal because back then that was the extent of technology that we were using.
yeah. Yeah,
We
on
didn't
August
go,
oh,
man, maybe we should dial that back, you know, just in case. We like went 1,000% the other way.
yeah, on August 28th of 1859, all of North America's telegraph lines down. Not just the US, Canada and Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So did it say how long it took to restore it or?
It happened again on September 2nd as well.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Can't catch
Yeah.
a break here.
I wonder if they were almost done fixing it and it happened again. Because that would be it. I would figure.
That'd be like how we were talking about band practice, where we all got ready and then it just.
Yeah.
So apparently when it did come back on, everything that was starting to come through was about celestial light shows and stuff that had happened the night before. So basically they had like the aurora borealis going on
Oh, geez. So they were probably
Yeah.
thinking it was the end of the world.
Apparently, the sky turned red when it happened too. This is pretty crazy. I didn't know that part. But yeah, so we have had an EMP shut down our infrastructure twice already.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, can you imagine it now where we're 1,000% more electronics and devices and networks running all at the same time? If that would happen right now, especially, I mean, from if it's big enough to send a solar flare to Earth, I mean that's insane. You know, everybody
That
will just go dark. You won't be
the
able to
only
get your
threat,
Kentucky X Files episode, and that's bad.
but the
That's
scary thing
terrible.
is that like if it didn't do it to other parts of the world, say it was kind of focused at the time by us. How
Yeah.
many people do you think were like, United States is down?
Oh,
They have nothing.
Get them.
You know for a fact
Pile up.
every other country would have a rock hard like, let's get them, yeah.
I would think what would happen is multiple different places would be like, now's our chance. And then they would start making their way here and then run into each other. And they'd be like, hey, what do you think you're doing? Like, we're gonna go kick their ass while their power's down. That's what we're doing. Oh, you can wait
apparently
till we're
this
done.
is. I'm reading on, and apparently this is like more common back then than I knew. So another event, November 18th and 19th of 1882, another massive solar flare hit, and it was lighting up street lamps when it came through. It disrupted
shit.
telegraph communications and set off several fires on the Chicago telegraph switchboard, melting instruments.
Wow.
In 1903, the solar storm disrupted telegraphs and the transatlantic cable and shut down Swiss streetcars.
Jeez Louise.
1941 happened and it was burning fuses and damaging 100 miles of telephone and telegraph networks. It's just, yeah, pretty wild, man.
We better hope that if a solar flare comes through, it doesn't do anything to 75 South. Because
Right.
they've already got like 200 years of work into that road and they're still not done. And it would be a huge setback.
They're already
Yeah.
gonna do the bridge.
Yeah.
Like, man, they didn't even finish. Well,
I think that they should just go ahead and start now on like runways for flying cars because by the time they're done, we should be in like hovercrafts. You know, guys are they're built for comfort, not for speed. Put it that way. Yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't help though when you have to start over on the project multiple times, in a decade.
Right.
Yeah. So Kentucky, we just got our asses kicked by a windstorm. How'd that feel, huh?
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was entertaining. Do you have the video of our band practice?
I don't have it uploaded here, but god damn it, I wish I would have. I wish I would have thought of it. I would have put it on there. It's pretty hilarious. We got together to play music and got all tuned up, got everything ready, and power's out. Multiple trees down all over the place. A store
Yeah.
real close to here lost their entire sign. It got blown down.
Yeah.
Over pretty close to here, the top of a telephone pole and the what do you call it? The transformer snapped off like the tip of a fishing rod. Man, it was like
Yeah.
they were rerouting people around it and stuff. Luckily, though. Oh, good.
How many trees were down on your way to my house?
Okay, so there was one for sure, and I suspected a second one because as I was coming through, all these branches started coming down, and I floored it. I'm like, nope, not doing it, not into it. There was one up the street from here. Porta John's blown over. I mean, you just name it. It was everything you'd ever want in a perfect windstorm. Luckily. Unfortunately, there was a few deaths across Kentucky. 4 people lost their lives because of it, but could have been a lot worse. You know what I mean? That could have been a whole hell of a lot worse.
Our very own Tyler up there was a good Samaritan.
Yeah, that was the. I think that was the second one I saw because there was people struggling trying to get a tree off the road.
Yep.
It wasn't a. It was a good sized tree.
And Tyler got out of his truck and showed his Bigfoot wrestling prowess and
Hell yeah.
manhandled
Tossing
that tree.
trees.
Toss a tree over the rail. Did Tyler push that over?
Yes.
No, Tyler did not. If Tyler had been there, he probably could have fixed this for him. He could have pushed that right back up on his wheels and got him moving. But
That's
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah, wind was blowing trucks over. Unfortunately, if you were unlucky enough to not be heavy loaded, you were in a pretty bad way. Yeah, I never did get any kind of count as to how many actual tornadoes were on the ground, but the straight line winds were doing enough. I mean, they said that some of the downed trees near Lexington were getting hit with hurricane force winds.
Yeah.
So I know we didn't get it as bad as they did down there, but
Our buddy
damn.
Jake in North Carolina said that he had gale force wind alerts right after we had ours.
Yeah,
Freaking
it
I
was.
saw a video. I saw a video of a guy. He was literally watching a tornado tear his neighbor's house down outside of the like right in the backyard. He was
Really?
Jeez
filming.
Louise.
Dude, this thing was probably at least 100, maybe 150 feet away from him. Like maybe like 20 spy balloons,
Wow.
and he was just filming it. And then when his fence started to break apart, that's when he shut his glass door, that sliding door, and
Oh
then
yeah.
he
Well,
ran.
yeah.
I was like,
They.
"This? Are you kidding me? It's literally in front of you. You took the time to film it."
Yeah. This is the view that most people were watching approach from the south.
Yep.
Very, very dark and ominous clouds are very dark and ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This brings me to like since we're talking about this weather, like all this weather stuff going on, and this is a conspiracy that's been thrown out there like left and right. Do you guys ever heard of the like we can control the weather? There's a like somewhere up in I think they said Alaska or something or somewhere I can't remember where it was, but they said that they have the technology to control the weather.
Yeah.
I can't remember like
This is a
th-
complex conspiracy because the problem with it is that the conspiracy theorists think it's a conspiracy. That's the problem. Is when you get into the like weather and climate control, sciences, this is legit. This is something they actively want to try to do. You can actually I believe you can go on to I'll find the link, but there's a government website you can actually go on and you can see the what do you call it, the mission statement of the program for weather and climate control. And like I run into people every now and again that are like, "Oh man, they're really at it today. They're seeding them clouds." Well, you're half right. Okay, they are, but probably not where you think they are. Most of the time when they do it, they're doing it away from everybody. So it's an interesting conspiracy because people are like, "Oh man, they're out there controlling the weather," but then you got the government on the other side that are like, "Hey, we're trying to control the weather," just in case anybody asks. But
Yeah, there's
the
laws
two
about it.
parties, yeah, the two parties don't like ever link up and go, "Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay." I was wondering if that was you up
Well,
there controlling the weather or trying to.
but the only thing I've always wondered is too, like, even is like, okay, if it's not like you're saying, it's not a conspiracy. We are actively trying to control the weather. What do you think that would actually do to the Earth? Like, you're literally telling it not to do something that it's made to do.
I don't think they can stop.
Yeah.
I
You
think they
don't
can
think they would
create.
be able to like would that be another like mission statement like to, like their goal is to try to stop something?
It's
I
not
know.
that. I think it's more like they're attempting to be able to create events, like make rain happen,
Yeah.
but they don't have the power or the ability to stop
But
the rain
even
from
that,
happening.
like to make
Yeah.
rain, like to make rain too, would you feel like that would change shit too? Change like how the world works. Like we're actively telling it to make rain when it doesn't want to.
Right. But
So I didn't know if that would cause an effect. Like, is there any?
so, okay, so what it would have to be is if you wanted it to rain, the things that can make rain happen have to be in place already. Right. So you can't have just like the fluffy cumulus nimbus clouds that don't do anything. You have to have clouds that have the abundance of water droplets in them there so that you can make them release the water droplets. Right. So that's the issue is they're not taking clear blue skies and building a storm.
Yeah.
It's like basically what it is they're not taking an empty dinner plate and making a taco on it. They have all the ingredients have to be there. You have to have the shell, the meat, the lettuce, everything has to be there ready to go.
Sour cream.
Sour cream, yeah, if we're doing a supreme, sure.
Hot
Yeah.
sauce.
Hot
So
sauce.
that's the issue. So but this is 100% real because there's a chapter I'm looking at right now, code chapter 9A, the U.S. codes, is weather modification attempts and activities, and it's
Yeah.
the reporting requirements involved. So if you're going to do something to alter the weather, you have to report it. That's why it's like, okay, we're attempting to work on this stuff, but like you've got places like Africa where people are have no rain, there's no water. you know you can't just make it rain there because there's the ingredients to make it aren't there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
There was
I get it.
what was it? It says here, the General Electric Company, scientist Irving Langmuir and Vincent Schaefer modified clouds by seeding them with dry ice pellets. Not long afterwards, Bernard von Newt, a coworker, demonstrated that a smoke of silver iodide crystals would accomplish the same result. They also um, did a weather and climate modification or rainmaking, as the Navy and War Department's popular notion that the rainfall could be caused by the detonation of explosives, and this was supported by funding from the federal government. Basically, figured out that if they detonated an explosion big enough in the atmosphere, they could push rain clouds from over here to over here. You know,
Right.
and they could seed clouds enough to, I guess, get them to draw more moisture and whatever. But it's one of the things, to me. It is interesting, and I can see the use for it. I mean, hell, if you got a drought going on, being able to make some rain happen is pretty handy.
Right.
As far as like the natural order of the earth goes, like, oh, we shouldn't mess with the natural order of the earth. You hear that one a lot.
Mm.
But think about all the Earth's been through already. Doesn't really matter if you make clouds or not, if a fucking meteor can destroy your planet at any given time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like jogging in a windstorm. You're going to be fit, or a tree's going to fall on you. Kind of a moot point, you know?
Right.
Just my opinion. I don't know. I think it's interesting as hell, though.
I get where you're coming from on that. Like it's
Yeah.
like the world's already been through enough. Like what we do to it now. Like I've said this so many times that we try to go green and all this stuff, and it just makes me. It's like I understand like everybody's like heart's in the right place. They want to help the planet to keep it alive, but I feel like us being here is an inhibitant. Like we destroy no matter what we do. We do.
Yeah.
We'll never leave this world without blood on our hands. The world
Sure.
doesn't need us. We need it. So that's the whole thing is that we want to be green, but I feel like we're not doing anything really kind of like I guess like really helpful to prolong it. Like if it wants to, if it chooses to like say like, hey, I'm gonna make the trees stop producing oxygen, all the plants and stuff, we're screwed.
Right.
It's
I'm
like
actually
we
trying
can't.
to find a picture of a really, really known force that does alter the weather, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. It's almost as if people don't want me borrowing their pictures. I'm getting that notion here. What the hell? Okay. Oh, I might have got one. Nope. Damn it. I was looking for a picture. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but when a volcano erupts,
Yeah.
there's so much pressure and an atmospheric change happens. You know, so this explosion happens. All this pressure goes up into the sky, and all of a sudden you have the craziest weather you've ever seen. So it shows you that all it takes is a little nudge to change what the weather's going to do. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what like a nuclear bomb going off, in the atmosphere. What would that do?
Right.
You know?
So, like, I've got a theory, or not theory, but a hypothetical question here on the lines of morality with this.
Yeah.
You know, if we are, sorry, that came out of nowhere.
There we go. My bad.
That's cool. Looks like
Yeah.
some kind of a video game. So,
Right?
on the lines of morality, if somebody's saying, it's immoral to change the weather, right? What if the end results are for something positive? So they're like, it's wrong to mess with the earth and change the weather, but
Yeah.
what you used that to stop a forest fire?
So, yeah, exactly. And I imagine that's probably one of the goals.
Well, maybe not stop, but prevent.
Yeah.
I get that, but then I would be like, yeah, I'm with that wholeheartedly. Like, yeah, to prevent something like stuff like that, to save animals and people's lives, but then again, it's like, what's the bet? Like, I've heard that after a forest fire, the the soil and the stuff is like so rich that it actually comes back twice as better than it did before.
Yeah, it
So
does,
that's
but
the
it
whole
takes a
point. Like in a
long
way,
time.
that's the yeah, but yeah, it takes a long time, but it does come back
Yeah,
crazy, like way better than it was before. So in a way, it's like, are we? Like, I understand why we're doing it. We want to prevent it to save people's lives, save like animals' lives. Like, but then again, it's like this is this happens sometimes, like for it, maybe for a reason. Like, this is how the world works. Are we adjusting for us or for the world?
right. I would agree with you if it was a natural condition forest fire.
Mm.
But what if
Oh
you
yeah,
got
okay,
what
yeah,
if you got shit like the wildfires that happened in Australia where those idiots lit it on fire?
okay, I
Right.
get that.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, we got like especially this last few years, everyone I get comments all the time from talking to people. It's like, man, this weather is insane. I remember back when winter was cold and summer was hot. You know, but the world is changing. It's doing its thing. We're just along for the ride. You know,
It
we
feels
got
like the seasons are drifting.
Yes, they definitely are.
Yeah, like it,
Tornado Alley is moving. Apparently, don't worry, it's just going to hang out with us now for a while.
Yeah. And
Well-
guys out in Kansas are like,
Woo! They're
we
buying
lived it for fucking
trampolines like
years. You take
crazy.
it.
yeah.
Guy's been looking at this trampoline in a magazine for 20 years. Like, yes, I'm going to be bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a windstorm come through, and it was the bane of trampolines. I was driving back to work after doing my shift, and there was trampolines everywhere. It was awesome. It was flying. You know, I was like, damn, dude, we're definitely spoiled rotten over here. You know, but it is. It's the world is changing. You got thunder snow happening left and right now. That used to be a lot more rare. There was like some news reporter where every time he catches it, he freaks out.
Yeah.
The dude was on like reporting and it happened, and he's like, "Yeah, woo!" And he's like freaking out, like, "I got it." What was the other thing? The Snownados. It sounds like a bad sci-fi movie.
This sounds like a great sci-fi movie.
You know? Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, sharks versus the Snownado.
Yeah. Snownator versus Gatoroid.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, this stuff is. It's just. I think it's just the world changing, man. You know, we just have to kind of ride along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
they're trying to alter the weather to get it back to what we considered normal growing up. You know.
I just don't think we'll ever get it back. Like I feel like the Earth has a pattern and it's going to stick with it. I don't feel like we're helping it, and we're not preventing it in any way. So it's gonna stay on its course no matter what. So like that's like something like I guess like it's very morbid to say, but this world was never going to last forever for our species and other
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
others that lived on this planet. So
I don't know how much of an impact we really make. You know, I understand that there's a lot of people that bleed
Yeah.
over this shit, that they're absolutely adamant that we're destroying the planet.
Yeah.
You know, and I would agree to a point. I don't really think it's like people like us three specifically.
No.
I would consider it more anybody that's doing shit to the ocean would be more problematic. You know, because if you look at the world, it's like only a third of it is inhabitable. You know, this planet isn't really made for us,
No.
if we're being honest. You know,
No.
we look at the fish like they're on our planet, but it's really the other way around.
Yeah.
You know, like like 75% of this place is designed to kill us. You know, if not more. I mean, we've got areas that are too cold for us to live in and survive in our natural state. Like think about if your natural state, like we're born naked, you know. So like the bare minimum, you know, if you just had a shirt and pants on,
Yeah.
80% of this planet would kill us.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're like fleas here. This isn't our world. This
We're
is not.
surface
Oh, yeah.
pests.
Yeah. This isn't our world at all. Now the shit that they're into the oceans, these other countries that are constantly dumping toxins and garbage and shit in the ocean, yeah, they're problematic. But you and I going down the road and you know in an old car are nowhere near as problematic to the world as that. That's, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah. I mean, well, think of how much food comes out of that ocean to feed all of us, you know?
How much
Uh,
fish do you eat?
Right. I mean, I like seafood a lot. I
Right.
crab, fish,
Right.
it's always in the fridge, but there's some places that, are right there on the ocean where it's
Right.
predominantly their main source of food,
Right.
I don't know. And then you have governments that go into a country that's starving and declare 80% of the hunting ground as a reserve.
Right.
Not trying to nitpick here, but
Yeah.
a whole lot of food walking around out there.
Yeah.
Only you were allowed to hunt it.
And you've got these tribes that's what they did for centuries.
Yeah.
Is they hunted the land around them, and then the government comes in and says, "No, these are protected."
Yeah, we can't be having you guys hunt these. And they're like, what do you want us to eat?
Yeah, there's tribes that are now hunting baboons and eating baboons because of this.
Yeah.
Because the other animals aren't there.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
To me, that's ridiculous. It's like,
yeah,
people that if that's their culture, if that's where they live, that's their hunting ground. That's how we started. Let's be honest. So let them hunt, let them feed themselves, man. This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I think
I'm just saying that there's an animal sitting there with enough meat on it to feed the village, but we're gonna like not do that. We're leave him though. But here, if you send 25 cents, we're gonna send him some canned goods.
Right.
Uh, I'm just saying that that you probably would have been better off just eating that animal because who knows what's in that can.
Right.
then on top of that, the fuel costs and the fuel that they're burning to get over there to send all
Yeah.
that shit. It's like double-edged sword. It's like which environmental impact do
Yeah.
you want to have?
You want to send
Uh,
thousands of, millions of pounds of food in cans that's got all kinds of artificial shit in it that these people are not used to eating and probably would be better off without.
Right.
And like you said, burning up fuel, causing more emissions to go into the atmosphere. And then as soon as you get that plane landed and get it back here parked, we're going to protest that you put fuel in that plane in the first place.
Right.
A lot of hypocrites.
Oh, tons.
A lot.
yeah, freaking. I've heard where some of these reserves, like you were saying, like it's blocked off. You can't hunt there. You're not allowed to hunt this. That's why. And another thing too, to pay for all that, they get like, okay, say that there is like either a rogue or some type of like animal in that like it may be a rhino, lion, or whatever. It's actually more aggressive than all the others. Like
Yeah.
it's attacking villages, destroying crops, this, that, and the other thing. Basically, it's being a dick. It gives like rich dickheads from the United States, like, hey, if you pay us thousands of dollars, we'll allow you to hunt that one, and it goes back into to hire people to make sure no one kills the other ones. That and it just keeps the cycle going. So it's like, what the hell? It's like okay, they killed that animal. Like, I'm not saying like anything bad about hunting or trophy hunting. Do what you want to, but what are you like? I hope that you're doing like give all that meat that you just killed to the local natives.
A lot of
Yeah.
times
All
that
you
happens.
want is the head. That's
No,
all you fucking want.
and honestly, trophy hunting does more for the environment than most of your Greenpeace groups do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
all
really
that
do.
money.
Takes out doesn't it? They take out like problematic animals and
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a very recent event that happened with a giraffe where there was a picture of a girl. I wish I had it handy. Where she hunted a giraffe, and of course the internet, white knighted the shit out of it. They're standing up for animals' rights and went absolutely nuts over this and berated her like she was the most evil thing, evil incarnate.
no.
But the truth is this old giraffe, this male giraffe, was past breeding age. So what he was doing is he was big and strong enough to fight off all the other male giraffes, thus eliminating them breeding, even though he wasn't capable of breeding himself. And if he would have continued, that would have been a major impact on the herds, and you wouldn't have any new giraffes. So getting rid of him was paramount to keeping that species moving, right?
Okay.
So her trophy hunting, first off, the money she spent on it went to conservation efforts, right? The meat, I'm sure, went to feed people that eat giraffe. If it's something that people eat, I'm not 100% sure, but they're not going to haul all that meat back to the U.S. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And even if it didn't, there's other creatures that would survive off of that. A dead carcass feeds
Right.
other animals.
Yeah.
If it feeds a lion, then that lion is not bothering a tribe. If it feeds a hyena, then that hyena is not bothering a tribe. There's a lot to this, but people want to, not martyr, but they want to chastise and point these fingers at these trophy hunters when they're really actually better for the environment than, say, like those Greenpeace guys that drive around in those really, really inefficient ships and chase whale hunters.
Yeah.
And do damage to the
Yeah.
boats and sink boats and put oil and oil in the water and fuel in the water. And
Right.
like, it's really easy to demonize something if you don't know more than what's at the surface. You see a picture of a white woman kneeling with a rifle next to a dead giraffe, and it's really easy to go, she's evil, she's hunting giraffes. Well, she may have just made it so that 15 new ones get born, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's
I want to.
interesting. Is like whaling? Is that? I mean, is whaling still actively going?
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what is it that whales have that is so hard for us to?
That was the blubber.
Yeah.
Is blubber like? I'm not
I don't know
educated
what
in
it's
this
used
area at
into,
all,
but I
but
thought that was what it was from the beginning.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the oil.
that's kind of where I'm at with this. Is what makes whale blubber or oil, whatever, so irreplaceable that we have to use it? That's what I'm curious about. And it's not just because I like whales either. It's partially because I just
Well,
like whales.
well, I will. Well, I don't know about that, but there are some like I know. I think it's. I want to say it's around like the. I know. I think I've seen this videos of like it's like in the around China area, like the
Yeah.
seas around China. It there's these guys like people that will grab like basically pull in sharks and they'll just cut off their back fin for
Yeah.
some reason. I can't remember if it's a trophy or it's some. I know it's sold for some reason, and they just throw it back in the ocean. They literally cut it off and throw it back in the ocean.
Huh.
I get it. Like, yeah, that could have been another food source, like how Gibbs was saying. It's like it could be another food source for something else. But I feel like what was the point? Like, I feel like there's so many other things that you could be doing. Why do that?
Right. And that's the thing with
And
like
it's not like they're paying for that to like do those sorts of things to help prolong the herd or help something like you were saying about that giraffe being able to like basically stunt the growth, like the breeding process of every for that like what would you call the like not pride, god dang it,
herd.
whatever, herd. Yeah, yeah, you're right, herd. So yeah, like the like yeah, there is some like wrong in doing these things just because of money, but there are some benefits in certain areas, like what Gibbs was saying about that giraffe. Like it was literally doing more harm than good being alive.
No.
So I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people out there would have the same argument. We're doing a lot, like we could be doing a lot of harm than good too. So they would throw that out like that's what makes our lives better than theirs. Like, but I was like, I don't know. I
It
don't want to
looks
go
like
down that rabbit hole.
United States is still somewhat in the whaling business, but our whaling is looks like it's reduced to I guess indigenous people of Alaska.
Yeah.
And the number is like 2003 48 whales, 2004 43 whales, you know what I mean? And it says here they were all uh I don't know if I'm saying this right, bowhead or bowhead whales, but it looks like they have kind of a limit. uh they have a limit of how many a year they take, and at any given time the limit will be reduced to 0 for conservation. So they'll skip a year, they'll skip a few years if they need to. It's like it's more something that they're wanting to like sustain, not wipe them out, you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
and
like the
I'm a lot less concerned with the Inuits
Yeah.
than I am with Asian whaling, because they're like they're actually like going out in huge ships, and pulling in multiple at a time, and they've got whale meat vending machines in Japan.
Wow.
You know,
well, it's like the same thing in like what is that Alaska thing? Like the seals, like clubbing seals. I I don't understand what would be the point of that. Like when we talked about that a while ago. Remember those like seals that came that washed up on shore decapitated.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point? It's like,
I don't know. I mean,
say, I don't understand, like, what, like, other than the, like,
it's just
meat or
being a
something.
dick.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? That's what's the point, you know?
I've been in a whole honesty, like, with this. It's just like we're trying, like, in a way, we're trying to, like, in some cases, like like conservation, helping to make them, like, not let them go extinct in some ways by doing this. But then
Yeah.
on top of it, it's like, what about any other animal out there? They would turn, like a lion, like that would suck, because a lion, if it can't find any food, it's gonna, like, if it knows, like, hey, there's a village over here, like, I know it's not talking, but it's a village over here.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Could be a
Hey,
not
like,
lion.
hey, Tony, you want to go eat these guys over here? Sure.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
man.
yeah, like, but that's the thing. It's like, shit. It's like, that's like like, do they feel any remorse? It's like, just because we feel like we are the dominant species, we have we have compassion, we have feelings, we can think. We're the ones that have to be the high roaded people to always be the one to save it. But, like, come on, we're, like, at the basics, like, the root of us, we're just like them. We
Yeah.
just know how to stay up in a tree longer than wait them out.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just read that the Japanese uh, meat that they're getting from the whales is so high in mercury that they can't like export it anywhere. Nobody wants it. So like, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like, hey, you know, you caught it, you eat it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not touching that.
I get
I
that.
don't know. It's pretty wild, man. This stuff is crazy. I didn't have any idea that this was even still going on. That's terrible. I love whales. Whales are awesome.
I hate to say it, Danny, that some of that kind of stuff happens with elephants.
No, it never.
It does.
I don't believe it. I don't want to believe it. I,
Yeah, but
I,
the opposite happens too. You know,
yeah.
look at that lady that the elephant came and killed her, and then came back and smashed up her funeral.
You know, I stand by this, man. I swear. What did she do?
What did she do?
You know, what they call it, victim blaming.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I like elephants. I like whales. You know, it's just it's one of the
It's
things.
very
You know what
biased.
I've definitely started to. I've been keeping up with our Cincinnati Zoo, and I've been checking in on the baby hippos.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that they grow up to be like 1,000-pound killing machines, but
yeah,
goddamn, they're cute when they're little. They
yeah.
had this one. He was just like laying there on his back with his little stumpy legs sticking up, and he was napping. And I'm like, that little fella would grow up and just beat the shit out of crocodiles one day. A little tyke. He's all tuckered out.
Or
You know?
chase a boat down and eat the people in it.
Yeah. I thought they were vegetarians.
They might be. I don't know, but I know they will absolutely capsize a boat and kill everybody in it.
Yeah. Hippos.
Yep.
Hippos must have been
The silent
something
killer.
that got picked on a lot back in like, the megafauna area. You know what I mean? Like maybe they were tired of getting beat up by all the like mammoths and saber-toothed cats and stuff, and they decided going in and now this new century, they're like, you know what? It's our turn. We're rising up, hippos. They do, man. They pick up crocodiles and fling them out of the water and shit. And
Yeah,
I mean, you got to be a badass to handle crocodiles.
yeah, especially saltwater crocs.
Yeah, man. I used to watch Steve Irwin. Rest in peace, Steve. I used to watch Steve Irwin, dude, and there was even a couple crocodiles where even he didn't want to jump on them. You know. So, do you guys want to address the UFOs in the room? The
Sure.
UFO pictures that keep coming in.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah, I've been
So let's see here.
wanting to
Josh, you
address
sent
that.
that one, right?
Yeah, I sent that picture.
Okay, you sent that one, and you can see the lights there up above the trees.
Yep.
And then we see this one coming in all the time now. And then I believe, what was it, last week? We had some videos of the same videos or the same two lights coming in.
Yeah, and I sent a video of it in too.
And you sent a video of it. And I think I got those here somewhere too. Where are they at here? Why is this? Oh, there it is. Video clips. All right. So there they are.
Yep.
The infamous UFOs that everybody's seeing.
So, do we want to know what they are?
Yes.
All right. You got that last picture?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Ready for everybody's mind to be blown on this one?
This one?
Nope. 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 The last link I sent.
Oh. Going to it now.
Oh,
I'll upload it. If I can.
I got it. Hold on. I think I can.
Okay. Cool.
Nope.
This one?
There it is.
There we are. There we are. So
All right.
what you're seeing is Venus and Jupiter in alignment.
Okay.
And for those of you not watching on YouTube that are confused by that, because I've seen a lot of people on Facebook seriously confused about how we can see Venus and Jupiter in alignment, because, you know, the MVIM Jason P, Mercury, Earth, Venus, or Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, you know, so on out. It's a circle. And we're aligned not across the sun from each other, but next to each other, right? So that's what you're seeing. The brighter one is Venus, the darker one is Jupiter.
There we go.
Ta-da! That's planet alignment. Pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So all these UFO sightings were, they see these two lights just hanging there together. We're pretty much just seeing the light reflection off of those two planets. And I guess that explains why one seems bigger than the other one, right?
Right, because
The
it's
one's
closer to the
closer.
sun.
Yeah.
It's closer to the sun, so it's getting a brighter reflection.
All right.
Well, I will throw this out there. Like, we're not saying like this is the only reason why we're seeing UFOs in the sky. I know, like, these are not moving. We can tell that they're not. Well, they are, but they're moving. We're so far away from it, we can't tell. But
No, they're actually moving pretty quickly in the night sky. If you go outside and you're out there and then walk back and then go back out an hour later, they're in a different location. They're moving fairly
but they're
quick.
not. But they're not moving like I like say like the two like maybe the UFOs that you guys think that you guys saw at the same time.
Oh yeah,
Like
no.
that green light one where it did a 360 and then went back the other way and stuff like that. That's
Right.
different. Like that's something that we couldn't explain. But this one right here is definitely like it's the same like same visual in
Yep.
different like pictures, and
Yep.
this is like the best like yeah, it's the best explanation for it, and
Yep.
it's within like science. Like yeah, it's the alignment. So yeah,
Yeah.
good research, Josh.
Yep. No, the nail is in this coffin. This is a well-known fact that this is happening. And the only problem is that for some reason, people who are big time into UFOs and are always looking for UFOs don't also seem to follow astronomy.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. They seem to disconnect the two. You know,
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure there are some that do, but it just seems like there's a lot that don't understand the stuff that's going on that we already have explanations for.
Right.
I would say that a lot of these people like they've seen something kind of like what like you guys have seen like something really crazy, and they see this and they're really like concerning about the thing beforehand and not taking the irrational thing and like looking up like, oh, what is this? like because they're already thinking like all the research they've done so far about the lights that they've seen, they don't have anything. It's still a UFO basically. They're just going to assume everything in the night sky is going to be 100% UFOs, like something that they're not used to seeing.
Right on.
So I feel like they've seen one like unexplained thing in the sky, and then they're not going to take their like the due diligence to see it's like if what they're seeing now is a UFO and there's no explanation. So I feel like it's just
Well,
because
and the
they're
other
not
thing
taking
too
the
is
time to make sure if it is or isn't.
the other thing too is the way you research. Okay, so the word research is kind of it's a pet peeve of mine. I use it all the time, but I shouldn't. I actually get mad at myself over it because research implies that you've spent hours upon hours of dedication looking into a subject and you've written papers on it and you've presented it. You know, that's research.
Yeah.
When you look something up, the way you look it up makes a difference. So I could look up two bright lights in the night sky and
Yeah.
never, ever, ever get the results of Venus and Jupiter lining up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's you got to know what to look for to find it. So I think that might be some of it that happens. You know, people see something strange in the sky and they don't know how to describe it in a way that's going to give them the correct results. Because I even tried it. I typed in two bright lights in the sky and
Yeah.
nothing about that was going on. And then I was like, all right, well, what about planet alignment? Ta-da! Right there. News, 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 planet alignment, Venus and Jupiter, Venus. It was, stacked thousands of pages
Yeah.
of all these credible sources with pictures, satellite images, and all that explaining what these two lights in the sky were. But the keyword search, two lights in the sky, are not going to render that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So
It makes sense.
Yeah,
some of it isn't the people's fault. They're trying to look it up,
yeah,
but they don't know
Yeah.
what to look for.
Well,
You know?
yeah,
yeah. Because
especially
you got
since over the last couple of years, with the what was it, the document release, and all
yeah,
that stuff from the government. Everybody's looking up now,
yeah.
So
It could be
you see
something that they
something weird, in
yeah.
the sky, you're like,
Yeah.
Shit.
you know,
I'm finally seeing it, like, but
yeah,
like it's not what you think.
Yep.
right,
But like yeah, like when you like yeah, I feel like the internet is such a awesome tool that's been like to come to us in the like last like years and shit like that. But it's our like it's a negative too because there's so many people throwing what they've seen and what they've heard out there. Sometimes it's hard to find the actual truth behind it because like yeah, there like I said, I'm not trying to say all your guys' UFO encounters or sightings are fake and
yeah,
you're not like it's just planet alignment. But what I'm saying is there's a lot that are not, but it will like since there's so much stuff thrown out there on the internet, it's hard to find the actual answers.
Well, I
And
mean,
that's
I'll go
that's
out of
what
order.
Josh was saying. If you had the right keywords, like it had to be something like it had to be that one moment where you had to like, what about a planet alignment? And then type that in, and then you finally get your results. You
Right.
can't
yeah,
just like you have to make sure that whatever you're looking up, like try to find every angle to like search, like
yeah,
because
Right. And
it could end up this, like
you
you're
hit
thinking that these are UFOs. Sorry.
you hit the nail on the head when you called it a tool. And that's the thing is the internet is a tool.
Yeah.
But people use tools the wrong way all the
Yeah.
time. You know, there's hilarious memes in construction sites where it'll be a picture of a tape measure, a speed square, an impact drill, and something else, and it'll be not a hammer, not a hammer, not a hammer, not a hammer. And people are, I'm myself included, using the wrong tool at the wrong time. And that's the problem with it being a tool. Is if you don't use it the correct way, it's not going to yield the right results. But
yeah,
what you said earlier, I'll go ahead and go out on a limb and I'll say it that 90%, I would say in that ballpark of stuff that people send out onto the internet as UFO sightings falls right into the same thing as the Bigfoot stuff. It's not.
yeah,
But there's probably 10% that we can list as unidentified. What it is just is if you don't know what it is, doesn't make it unidentified. It means somebody might have identified it.
I
You
think
know?
that's fair. Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah.
fair assessment. Oh yeah.
Like the stuff we saw, it's unidentified to us, but maybe somebody knows what the hell it was. You know,
Yeah,
but I've yet to find the result.
yeah.
Yep.
That's it. And we're yet to find the results. We keep looking.
Yep.
You know, as long as you pace yourself, don't get frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a key. If you start getting frustrated, it's like, oh my god, you know, there's got to be something here, but
Um,
there's not. Blah blah blah.
I wanted to
Eventually.
throw this out there. I know we're probably going to end this one. We're a little over an hour now, so I wanted to throw and get people thinking. There's an episode that we all have done, like we did in our first season, that we were blown away by. That the information that we got changed everything, our viewpoints on a certain topic, and I kind of wanted to throw it out there. We've been like researching. Well, we've been looking up. We've been using our tool to look up information more about it, and I feel like we've shed some new light on it. And I know
Oh, are
that
you talking about that?
yeah, I didn't want to really throw
Oh,
it out there unless you
yeah.
guys wanted to, but
Let's.
I really want to let the people know. Like, do you guys want to let them know that we're digging back into it? And a future episode, we're going to probably start talking about it again.
I think it'd be cool to let them know what we were working on, but let's save it because there's too
Okay.
much.
Yeah,
There's definitely too
because
much to
we're
drag out
definitely
here.
not done with what we're looking up. I
Plus,
feel like
you got your trip that you got to prepare for, Ty.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So Tyler's going to be reporting from the surface of the sun next week sometime. So to get in there and get a good look at what's actually going on, so we can, put that one to bed. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think we should definitely make
Yeah.
an episode about it because that's one where I was for sure like,
Yeah.
all right,
After
nail in the coffin, done.
yeah, after we got our information, like just like
Yeah.
how like and just like we were talking previously, and I didn't even mean to this to be a segue and to link up with what we were talking about.
So good at segues, though.
But the tool, like
Really, really good at them.
we got information, and like yeah, it was credible to that person,
Right.
and
Twice.
it made sense
Twice.
twice. It
And
made
then
sense.
you took it upon yourself
Yeah, I
to
just
go a
wanted to
little
make
deeper.
yeah,
Yeah.
like but it took us this long. That's the thing. That's what's the bad part about it was it took us this long to go this a little bit deeper, but like see we're all human. We make those mistakes where we're so deeply into our belief on something. We're going to take one person's opinion and might we do a little of our said research and not go deeper. There's multiple layers to this fucking onion and
Yeah.
we need to keep peeling.
Yeah.
So like
For you
everything I
guys
like
out
with
there listening and watching this, there's a certain 911 call that gets used quite a bit in the Bigfoot community as it's a pretty intense call. It's pretty hair raising, really. I mean, we had a professional come on and basically shoot it down. Pretty much, in my opinion, that book was closed. I was done. I was like, okay, that's all I needed. I can move on with my life. Unfortunately, the 911 call is back on the table again because new information has come to light. You're going to have to watch a future episode to find that out. New stuff, new stuff. Some of you guys out there are going to be so happy. You're going to be like, yes, my 911 call's back. But yeah, there you go. Stay tuned for that one.
Stay tuned.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we could. I
Hold
should have
on.
had it ready. Yeah, hold on.
Hold
This is how good, how we're
Stay tuned for the rest of this conversation.
professionals.
Professionals.
Look at that.
Hey, real
So,
quick
yeah.
before we go, yet another Norfolk Southern train derailed in Ohio.
What?
Just so you know.
somebody needs to
They need to like
somebody
work
needs to
on
go out
this.
there and spank their heinies.
They should come up with a crew that does maintenance on these things. They should
Right.
probably put an ad in the paper, you know?
Well, I mean, I think their budget cuts were put in the wrong spot. There's a lot of railroad workers that were pissed because the job cuts and everything. So maybe Norfolk Southern should, like, oh, I don't know, consider hiring people.
I wonder if paying people to work on the train is cheaper than fixing towns after they've been destroyed by trains.
One would think.
I don't know, you know? Wonder if one of
I'm
them's
just saying,
a
like,
write-off.
everything else is going up. Maybe you should charge a little extra for that cargo that you're hauling,
Yeah.
so you can pay people to actually make sure that cargo gets to the place.
You
I
should
don't know
add
Because
that
you
to
know
the,
for a fact that your customers are already pissed that they're not going to get their whatever chemical that
mean,
they're is poisoning a
maybe not-
town.
Maybe not charge more for like regular goods because then it goes to us, but maybe like these fucking billionaires that own these companies take a pay cut and put some money into safety.
that sure would be nice in an ideal world. That's for sure.
Maybe some of these politicians that are getting funds from said
Yeah.
companies could, like, oh, I don't know, care more about their constituents
Yeah.
than the dollars that are coming in. I don't know. Maybe a corrupt system could
Yeah.
be looked into. That would be
That would be nice. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, yeah, but 212 cars derailed. Oh, I'm sorry, 20 cars derailed out of a 221 car, 12 car train.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of them had a little diesel fuel. Some of them had a little polyacrylamide water solution. I don't know what that is.
Sounds poisonous.
There was a shelter in place order. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be cool if they did something about this.
All
Yeah.
those chemicals were probably on their way to the factory where they were going to use them as preservatives to put into the canned goods that we're going to send over to help out some poor starving country who's not allowed to hunt their own food.
Right.
Makes me feel great.
Yeah.
For a quarter a day,
Absolutely.
you could send those cans. Or
Look,
you could send $1,000 to Kentucky X Files.
no, you don't have to do that.
And we're gonna do something better with it than they would.
Yeah. I'll buy them. I'll buy some steak and send it. Oh, that'd be far away. So it might not be much steak because of the shipping costs and whatnot. But hey, by God, we'll send them. You know, might be some round steaks. You know, I don't know, budget cuts and whatnot. But you know, if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you.
I don't understand. Like, what? Like, would it be difficult to just send livestock over there and then teach them how to raise cattle?
I'm sure it's been done.
I'm pretty sure they already do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They-
I just don't understand. Like, why do we need to do that? I know that
It's
he's
because
making
there's
the
some
joke about
asshole
the
over there.
cannibal.
He's over there with the livestock, and then nobody has money. So he's probably raising the livestock and sending it somewhere else so he can get money for it. And the people are standing there looking at it like, God damn it. That cow would have helped out so much. You know what I mean?
Shit, like what? Like I don't understand. Like think about it. Like have a whole town help in, pitch in, like have a decent size like cattle farm,
Yeah.
and their payment is basically a cow at the end of the year or something like that.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Like they do their other stuff, and like yeah. But like I know it would be rough getting up there. Like they would have to work at the, and it all depends on like their living situation. But a decent sized cow could feed a decent sized family for a good
You
while.
gotta preserve it somehow. There's a lot of in and outs of that. You know what I mean?
And you have animals that are going to eat the cow before you get to it.
I didn't think of that. Yeah. Some random animal that you're not allowed to shoot is going to come out and eat your cow when you're all walking it back to your home. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Then a
I'm
lion
gonna
gets it.
eat like.
I mean, if you really want to destroy an animal population, herd animals, that are restrained by fences in an area where predators are not. I mean, buffet,
Yeah, no kidding.
like you get herd animals that are on the plains that can run and sacrifice the old and the young,
Yeah.
you put a fence
about-
around them and now you got problems.
Okay, my idea sucked. Thank you. God. Nitpicking it. God, I was just trying to help. Jesus.
All right, everybody out there. Obviously, we're not solving world hunger on this episode, but we'll keep trying. Yeah. So, you all take care of each other out there. You know, do your best. Do what you can. That's all I can say. I'm gonna do what I can.
See you guys.
Put a lip on my mic. It doesn't have a little piggy thing.